Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural episode of Superintendent's Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendent's Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendents who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of In Depth with Davis, Superintendent's Unplugged. I'm your host, Addison Davis. Today we have Erin Kane with Douglas County School District. Thank you so very much for being with us, Erin.
Thanks for having me.
You know what? Cool things happening in Colorado. You're one of the main reasons that cool things are happening. You serve 63,000 kids every single day. How's it been?
Fantastic. It's the best job ever. I absolutely love it.
I see it on you. You're wearing it right now, how you love this job. And for me, being a recovering superintendent, I can say that being 8 months out of it, I do miss it. But I just see that you have such passion and love for this. So let's dive into it. So 16 years into education, but that wasn't your foundational pathway. So let's talk about the non-traditional way that you've ended up being in the superintendency. How does it happen?
Sure. My degree is actually in computer science and applied mathematics. So I spent a decade as a data scientist, or what we would now call the data scientist.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a term at that time. So I did a lot of data.
That's cool within itself, by the way.
I did a lot of data work and working with large data systems. It was a lot of fun. I really loved my career. And then we had 3 kids, and the wheels came off at home.
Yeah.
I had 3 kids, 4 and under, and there was just no way for us to hold it all together.
Fun, right?
So I made the very difficult decision to leave my career and stay at home with my 3 kids.
Family first.
And then when my oldest was going into kindergarten, being a woman in STEM,
sure,
I felt really strongly about a STEM foundational education for kids. And this is at a time when STEM wasn't an acronym.
Yeah.
So I got it in my head to start a charter school.
Okay.
I was like, how hard can it be?
Sitting home one day, we're just going to start a charter school.
Out, yeah.
Anybody can do it. I mean, look at it.
Yeah, I was just a mom, and I started a charter school with friends and neighbors and our community, and opened in our charter school in Douglas County in 2004.
Wow.
With about 391 kids.
That's
and
awesome.
Over 16 years, it grew to 3,000 kids across 3 campuses. And I never intended to run it, but that's what happened, and I loved it.
You know, you say one thing, just a mom. Moms are heroes every day.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, one thing I've learned a long time is that moms can do anything. So transitioning to open up a charter school, we start off with 300 plus students. It grows in 16 years to 3,000. It's because of you. I mean, the impact that you've had on children every single day. And it's, of my understanding, one of the most fluent schools in Colorado.
Yeah, it's one of the highest achieving, highest growth schools
Yeah.
in Colorado. We're really proud of the accomplished track record that my charter system has.
That's awesome. So we fast forward. We open up a charter school, 3,000 kids. Then we go to Douglas, and we're asked to be an interim superintendent while you're running a charter school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, that's sometimes complex within itself.
It was a little crazy. Our superintendent resigned, and our district was in a really challenging time.
Okay.
There was a lot of chaos, a lot of turnover. Just morale was terrible.
Yeah.
It was a really, really hard time for our school district, and I had all these ideas about how they could fix it.
Yeah.
Never expected somebody to say, all those ideas you had about how we could fix it, we're going to need you to come do that.
Yeah, let's go do it.
So I was very reluctant to do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, sure.
I was a charter leader.
Yeah, complexities of having a charter lead, non-district managed charter school that
and
comes
just
in.
even just from a leadership lens, I was so nervous that I wouldn't have very much credibility with all of the district managed schools.
Yeah, from working from the ground up.
Coming from the charter world in general. And so I finally agreed to do it after saying no for several months. And boy, I loved every minute of it. I worked with our amazing neighborhood schools, from the time that I arrived, and tried to really kind of clean things up. We turned morale around completely. We turned turnover around completely.
Wow.
Academic results, which in a large district are really hard to change,
Hard.
went up 11 points in 2 years.
Yeah.
So we just made a really big impact and felt really good about the work. And it was really my team and the school leaders more than it was me. But doing that work during those 2 years was incredibly rewarding. But after that, I went right back to my charter school.
So 2-year stint as interim, transition, go back to your charter school, continue to expand endless possibilities for children, and then come back in 2022 to lead the district.
Yeah.
How rewarding.
Yeah.
I mean, really cool.
It's been an amazing journey. Nothing you could ever predict or plan for. But I absolutely love my district. It's my home. My children grew up in my district. I've lived there for 22 years, 24 years. And Colorado, I grew up in the area, so it's just very personal for me.
Yeah, I can tell. And you know what, when we always look for first round draft picks to come lead our school districts, and we do these national searches, which I think is great. Sometimes we ought to look within, and seeing someone within our community that has the heart, the love, the care for kids, and it sounds like they got it right in this particular area. So let's talk about moving the needle. So you moved the needle in 16, 18. Okay, we go back to the charter school, move that needle as well from academic progression, and now here we are again in 2022 or into now. We're running a playbook. So for those who are watching for superintendents, how do you focus to move the needle educationally? Because when we talk about 11 points is not easy to do.
No.
It's hard. I mean, it's a lot of strategy, it's innovation, it's systems, it's the right tier 2, tier 3, tier 1 curriculum that you have to adopt and implement. So for those who are watching, what's the playbook to get that right?
Well, so I would start by saying that I've now been the permanent superintendent for just over 2 years.
Sure.
And in those 2 years, we have again moved the needle for our district.
That's awesome.
Very, very significantly, especially in the area of literacy, but really all across the board.
Sure.
And in fact, so we've reemerged as the #1 school district in the Denver metro area, which hasn't been true in a decade.
Say that again for those who are watching.
#1 school district in the Denver metro area.
Alex, I got to call you.
Very proud of that. And sorry, Alex.
Sorry.
And we are also one of the few school districts nationally that has exceeded our own pre-pandemic scores.
Wow.
Every subject, every grade.
Wow.
We have met or exceeded our own pre-pandemic scores. So we just have so much to be proud of, and our teachers are out there killing it every single day. They are amazing. But you asked, what does it take to move the needle? And I believe it takes focus and alignment. And I'll tell you what those two things mean to me. One, when I came in, we set priorities for our district. You can't try to do everything. If you try to do everything, you will do none of it well, right?
Nothing. That's right.
So we went in and set our priorities, and in our case, our priorities were literacy, professional learning communities, what we call in Colorado the essential skills, but it's the same set of skills with different names, And we had a significant system-wide focus on climate and culture, boosting our priorities. The fourth priority is pathways. So those were our 4 priorities, with climate and culture norms kind of boosting all of those priorities. So we established climate and culture first, because that is the most important thing that you can do in a system. Teachers who are happy and feel appreciated and feel seen kill it for kids every single day.
Say that again.
Teachers who are happy and feel valued and seen for the work that they're doing, they kill it for kids every single day. Awesome. So that was priority 1, to really work on. We did creative retention strategies. Sure. We got as much money into our teachers' hands as we possibly could.
Thank you.
They see me out there fighting for them every single day, and that's important. So we did that, and our entire system at a district level aligned around those 4 priorities. So our entire professional development went around professional learning communities and literacy. The entirety of our student support services, our MTSS, all of those things aligned around those priorities. We had an absolute laser focus on those 4 priorities for 2 years. And those 4 priorities made all the difference in terms of moving kids forward. And people in schools didn't feel like they needed to do everything. We were just really clear about what we were going to focus on.
Clarity is the foundation to success.
Clarity is very important.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about clarity and having a blueprint and being, you can have change management, but you have project management going with that, and it sounds like all those elements were together.
And I can't speak enough to climate and culture. I was talking to a principal the other day, and completely unsolicited, he made a very interesting comment. He said, it was easy for all of us to focus on the 4 priorities because we could see the genuine affection that the cabinet members have for each other. In other words, often you have special education is kind of operating over here.
Everybody's in isolation.
And school leadership is operating over here, right. And there's some kind of tension, right? There's some kind of tension for priorities.
Territory, right?
All of those things. But because my immediate team has no tension and truly genuine affection for each other and genuine mutual respect, they do everything in lockstep, whether it's professional development or student support services or school leadership. They do everything in lockstep, and setting that example for an entire system makes a huge difference.
And it's hard to do. When you talk about culture, you're talking about collaboration, you're talking about individuals to be able to see and be a problem solver in this big community of elements that we have to be able to tackle every single day. It just signifies that there is everyone's working together for children.
Yeah.
And at the same time protecting the working conditions of adults. It's so important to do. And you're right, so many of our verticals or our cabinets were isolated in our approach, and everyone has to be able to be cross-trained to understand that those 4 priorities drive the work.
And truly the relationships that you have at a cabinet level impact an entire system.
Absolutely.
They really, really do. And so that working with my team and helping my team was a significant part of my focus. I needed them to make sure that they feel seen and heard and appreciated.
That's right.
For all of the amazing work that they do. Because again, it's easy to pass that down when you're receiving that above your head. And so that all goes back to kind of that climate and culture piece and setting up our norms for climate and culture and our expectations kind of throughout the entire system. I will say, shifting from a smaller system to a really large system, one of my really important lessons learned, when I was running a charter school system with 3 campuses, if something was broken, anything, I could go into the building and work with it and make it better, right? Well, when you have 90 schools and you see something that's broken, you can't do that. You can't go into the school and fix it yourself. That is not a thing.
That's right. We wish it was, right?
And if you do that, everything else is going to break, right? So it was really, for me, it was a big realization of I'm no longer in a position to fix things. I really am not. I'm not. My job is to set up the environment in which those schools can thrive.
That's right.
that is the essence of my job, is setting up an environment in which all of those schools can thrive.
That's right. A sense of care, a sense of hope, systems and
All of it,
processes,
yeah.
a right tiered instruction, the right professional development, the right recruitment mechanisms and retention mechanisms. And, all those have to come into play. And the other thing I would talk about, the days of just being an instructional leader as a superintendent, I think they're over. I think there's multiple facets that you have to be able to understand as a leader to be able to drive a system successfully. Thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the size of your system. I think the closer you are to the kids, the more important instructional leadership becomes.
Sure.
But in a system the size of which you've certainly had experience in, or even a system the size of mine.
Sure, large systems.
My job is to make sure I have the right instructional leaders in the right place.
That is right.
But it's the same thing where I can't personally do
Sure.
it. I have to set up an environment where everyone can succeed. And I
Sure.
also think that financial knowledge and understanding is really, really critical for a superintendent, because
Especially
when I look
now,
at
right?
things, oh yes, and when I look at things like teacher retention, because I understand our finances very well, I'm not afraid. And so I am willing to go ahead and give those long-term increases because I know how that will, map out going forward. And I have much less fear about spending money. I think fear is very dangerous in general, but fear does so many bad things. And when we feel like we don't have the knowledge, then we're fearful of getting in trouble or doing things wrong or whatever it might be. And so I think it's really important to understand that financial piece, because you know how you can take care of your people.
Absolutely.
One of the really creative retention strategies that we did in Douglas County, Colorado just implemented free lunch for all kids this year.
Breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch.
Wow.
So I just went all the way, and I have free breakfast and lunch for all of my staff. So
awesome.
Any bus driver can come into a school, show his badge or her badge, and receive a free lunch. And so suddenly the impact that has on culture. Can you imagine? Suddenly the bus drivers are now sporting the gear from the school that they drive the bus for. Whereas usually they just stayed outside, right? Usually they just stayed outside, but now they're in. Same with the people who are doing the grounds maintenance and all of the operations maintenance people, all the really, really important people that do so many amazing things in our system but are often unseen, got to become part of a school community, and that has just been so powerful.
I think that's really
to
cool.
do. So that was, and it at in the grand scheme of things, it was a great investment financially based on the return of people again just feeling valued and seen, and they don't have to worry about lunch, and we make really good lunches at Douglas County. So
cool lunches there. So if you're looking for a job, you want lunch taken care of, want to be a part of a cool culture, this is the place. So I talked about, and you did as well, not only being an instructional leader, you got to be a talent manager, an operational expert, a financial background, or understanding the complexities of the financial side. And the same token, being an innovator in those spaces. So sounds like all those things are coming together for you in Douglas County. What are some next steps, big ticket items that you envision for the school district?
So I also think that having the ability to future focus and innovate for the future is incredibly important. Sometimes we are so busy playing whack-a-mole that we forget to play chess.
That's
really, our role is whack-a-mole and chess.
Yeah.
And the idea is to clear the table so that you can actually play chess and think about that strategy moving forward. For Douglas County, we are in the process of looking at envisioning Douglas County in 2035.
Okay.
And what that means for our kids. So, we'll be doing strategic planning, but I would much rather call it something like Innovate 2035 or something along those lines.
Sure.
But we'll be, creating plans looking at 2035. Certainly, artificial intelligence is a big part of that, which is why a few team of members and I are here at this conference, actually. And I absolutely believe in embracing it. One of my favorite quotes is, artificial intelligence will not replace humans, but humans who can leverage AI will replace humans who cannot leverage AI.
100%.
That tells us everything we need to know about what our kids have to be prepared to do. Hiding from this technology is not the answer.
Right.
We need to lean into it. We need to help our teachers save time. They say the average is 5 hours a week that a teacher can save if they're actually leveraging AI for things like lesson planning and
Sure.
IEP goals and all the amazing things that AI can assist a teacher with so that they can actually focus on the instructional strategies and on truly working with and teaching their kids. The changes for personalized learning are incredible. The opportunities for kids are incredible, but we have to make sure that we're sending kids into the workforce that know how to leverage this technology responsibly and ethically, but absolutely to the maximum extent. And so that's something that we're really looking at as we envision 2035.
And I think that we do that through modeling, through our usage and, and engagement with it as well as leaders, as superintendents, as cabinet members, as principals, because it's not going away.
No.
And it's a quicker way to accelerate lesson plans, a quicker way to build strategic plans, a quicker way to be able to capture action plans, to be adaptive for learning.
Actually make things easier and not harder. And that is rare in our industry.
I know, right?
And
it will be, those who are fast adopters and embracers of this, it will be a relief off the backs of educators at being able to use the sophistication
100%,
of it. So
100%.
because while we pay them, while they work 7 or 8 hours a day, and we only pay them for 7, or we pay them for 7 or 8 hours a day, they work 13.
That's right.
I mean, that's like crazy.
That's
town.
right. And and because we in many districts across our country, including mine, we can't pay them as much as we should be. Some of them are doing second jobs or other things that that we need to really put a focus on taking care of our educators.
Absolutely.
Everything that my district has accomplished has been accomplished by our educators, our school leaders, all the staff that support them, and of course, in Douglas County, our partnership with our families is incredibly critical. Our parents lean in, and we lean towards them and work with our parents always. It's a recipe for a great school district.
Awesome. Well, I feel it today, Erin. Thank you so very much for being with us today at ASU. Really cool retro fit today with our Riverside RV 1962. Just try to do something different. But again, you've heard it from Erin Kane doing some really special things in Douglas County and Colorado. And we talk about innovators in this space. This is definitely one that has not only been innovative in her work, but also really focused on the foundation, the impact of culture. Culture will set the tempo of any school district that you engage with. And you know what? When individuals know that they care, they're willing to do whatever is necessary to help the mission, the cause, and take the priorities and be champions for children. Thank you again, Erin, for being here.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, I'm Addison Davis on Superintendent's Unplugged, In Depth with Davis.